and welcome to another educative edition of FMBN podcast here on 7FM TV, proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. On FMBN podcast, we make sure we give you all the detailed information you need to know about Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, its workings, products, and services. This program comes up here every week on 7FM TV with housing facts, exclusive interviews, commentaries, news, and many more on affordable housing in Nigeria. So do well to like, share, comment, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. It doesn't really bite, so that you'll be the first to be notified each time we post something here on 7FM TV. My name is Patience Okai, your host. Let's go on a short break. Don't go nowhere.
What is the name of my grandson?
Suleiman.
That's a good name. May the Almighty preserve him.
Amen.
Now that your family is growing, this is the time for you to start thinking of a house of your own.
Abba, the thought of this has always been on my mind. To build a house now, you need a lot of money, and that is what is holding me back.
Sonny, what you need is a mortgage. NHF mortgage loan. With NHF mortgage loan, you own a house upfront and pay gradually over a long period of time.
Abba, I will go to the FMBN office right away.
Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Okay, welcome back to FMBN podcast here on 7FM TV, proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Let's talk about the housing facts. Please come closer. How can an NHF contributor regularly get SMS alerts on his or her monthly contributions? Some of you have been asking this particular question, so it's high time we gave you the answer. Watch this.
Follow the steps below to start receiving alerts on your contributions. Visit the FMBN website on www.fmbn.gov.ng and complete the update form, or visit the nearest FMBN branch office to update your personal information. If the above has been done, speak to our staff in the branch office to check if the contribution schedule that has your name has been uploaded.
Good to know you are still with us here on 7FM TV and you are watching FMBN podcast, proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Last edition of FMBN podcast, we actually had the group head of corporate communication, Mrs. Timan Elia, and she came and spoke to us about the role and mode of sensitization by the bank. And in this particular edition, we have the Mr. Abubakar Mohammed, who will be talking about the role of SERVICOM in ensuring effective service delivery in FMBN. Let's join 7FM TV correspondent Austin Sinon in the conversation.
So let's start with the word SERVICOM. What does it mean, SERVICOM?
Well, SERVICOM is service plus compact.
Service
plus
compact.
That is how it is called.
SERVICOM. So it's actually an acronym.
It's an acronym.
All right, let's start with service. Service, what does it entail? And then the compact, let's link it up together.
Okay, service is, as you know, is rendering service to your client, to your customers, depending on the kind of services you render. For us in Federal Mortgage Bank, we have mortgages. We generate or we create mortgages. And this is the high point of our service to our customers. And our customers are Nigerians. The compact here means our accord, our agreement with these service takers. How do we give them service? At what price do we give them service? When do we give them service? How do we give them service? So once we agree on all this, then it is on us to, without failing, deliver these services to this group of Nigerians that we have entered into agreement with, to give them this service within the period, the time that we have agreed to give them the service.
Okay, so of course the FMBN, Federal Mortgage Bank, have a lot of services that they render. For instance, we have the rent to own, we have the home renovation, we have other services. So the core function, I'll put it that way, of these the SERVICOM is to ensure that these services are rendered correctly to your client, and then the agreement that bounds the service is being carried out.
Absolutely.
What is the level of satisfaction that you have, with the services that are being rendered so far?
Well, you see, when this bank started, or when we started delivering this service, we started with one product. And that product was, or is, the National Housing Fund loan. That is in terms of creating loan. The loan we created that time was National Housing Fund. After that, because of the demand, because of our innovation, because of initiatives, we came up with so many products so that we can be able to deliver and make sure that all our clients get at least one or two kind of services or mortgage that we provide. So after we started with National Housing Fund loan, we created other ones, which you have mentioned them. And let me, for the avoidance of doubt, again mention them. Okay. We have National Housing Fund loan, which we earlier, like I said, started, which was like the bedrock of the National Housing, the Federal Mortgage Bank product that we started. We now move to, we have a home renovation loan, we have the construction loan, we have the cooperative housing development loan, we have the diaspora loan, which is about to start, okay, to take care of our people that are in the diaspora, who are also contributors to the National Housing Fund. So you can see, out of one, and out of necessity, or out of the fact that we want to make sure that everybody come into the umbrella of this organization, we now created more products for people to enjoy.
When was the SERVICOM unit department? When was it created? Did it come in line at the same time when the FMBN was created with the first package, the National Housing Fund, or when was it created? At what time was it created, and why was it even created in the first place? What are some of the hitches that were on ground before it was created?
Okay, the SERVICOM itself came up not quite long ago, around 2016.
Oh.
But before the creation of SERVICOM, there are other units that were taking care of this function of SERVICOM. I remember when I was in the National Housing Fund Department, I was the head of Consumer Protection and Service Delivery. And at that time, what SERVICOM is doing now is the same thing, or almost the same thing as what we were doing during that period that I was heading the Consumer Protection and Service Delivery. So by the time they changed the nomenclature of the bank, increased it, they now came up with SERVICOM to replace Consumer Protection and Service Delivery.
So that department no more exists again?
No, the department exists, but it was removed from the National Housing Fund Department, and now moves to Corporate Communications Group with a different name, and that's the name I'm talking about now, SERVICOM.
Okay.
And is also to fall in line with the SERVICOM office that we have. We have a SERVICOM office that is in the presidency. So we have a dotted relationship with that office. So that office now oversees service delivery in the MDS. So we are part of MDS, as you know. So what we do is that whatever we are doing, in most cases, we have meetings with them. We rub minds together. They send in one or two things that we are supposed to do, at least to fall in line with service delivery. So like I said, we have a dotted relationship with that. So that is how we now move from Consumer Protection and Service Delivery to SERVICOM, to at least, so to speak, have a unity, or unite with SERVICOM, because SERVICOM is in all the ministries, departments, and agencies of government.
Of course, FMBN has been in existence for a long time now. And then, like you said, SERVICOM was brought in here around 2014, 2016, something thereabout. So what were some of the hitches, the bottlenecks that were observed, probably with the former department that was in existence before an improvement came up, because I believe SERVICOM is an improvement of service delivery within the bank. So what are some of the bottlenecks or the hitches that were discovered earlier before SERVICOM was brought in, and how far has the improvement, comparing the difference of what was being obtainable before and now, how far is the delivery level of service?
Yeah, like you know, in every setup, certainly the way you start is not the way you end. You must have what we call progression. You move from step A to step B, or from one point to another. When we were doing consumer protection and service delivery, of course, we are taking care of complaints. We are trying as much as possible to improve on the services of the bank. We are handling issues that have to come with service delivery, shortfalls of service delivery. And when those things were noticed, we have redress mechanisms at that time that we're doing. I mean, that we are working to, that we had, and we are also using them to solve issues. Where we cannot solve issues within the bank, we escalate them to the various places that we felt have relationship with that complaint, and we resolve.
All right, that was an exclusive interview with the group head, SERVICOM, Mr. Abubakar Mohammed. Let's quickly go on a short break. And when we come back, FMBN news this week. Don't go nowhere.
One, two. What? Stop! No, people. Don't go back our system.
Sorry, comrade. As an up-to-date contributor of the National Housing Fund, I will advise you to just apply straight away for a mortgage loan. Yes, there are several types you could apply for. There is the rent to own a home loan. There is the cooperative loan. There are several of them. Instead of paying so much money to these Shylock landlords.
At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home.
You are still on to the program FMBN podcast here on 7FM TV, proudly brought to you by the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria. Now I bring you FMBN news this week. We've come to the end of this week's edition. Thank you so much for joining us, and do well to join us next week for another educative edition of the program. You can follow us on all our social media handles displayed on your screen at Instagram 7TV_NIG, Twitter 7TV_NIG, Facebook 7TV Nigeria, and YouTube 7FM-TV. And you can visit our website at www.7media.ng, and do well to visit www.fmbn.gov.ng for more information. My name is Patience Oga, your host. Till I come your way next week. Stay blessed. Bye.